my beautiful Aquarius peeps, what's going on everybody? It's Ann from CancerMoonsTarot and welcome into your mid-November short but sweet check-in for November 2022. For those of you that are wondering real quick if I sound a little bit stuffy, I've been under the weather for like a couple of days, but we're over here getting better, so if anybody had any sort of concerns, thank you, but all is well. So Aquarius, let's see your mid-November check-in. It's going to be very short and sweet, and let's see what we got going on, baby. What do we got showing up here for Aqua? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout mid-November 2022. What information do we have showing up here, please, for the zodiac sign of Aquarius? Let's take a look here, okay? Starting out here with the overall energy for you. We do begin this reading with the Tower. Ooh. Now, some people might not be fond of the Tower card coming out over here, but Tower card, genuinely good card here to see. Excuse me. Thank you all very much. So, with the Tower card coming to play here for you, very big Scorpionic energy. Now, we did just recently exit Scorpio season. We've moved into Sagittarian season. But the Tower card is a card here that represents some foundation being broke down in order for a new foundation here to be rebuilt. When you think about it, right? In construction, you see an old building. It's not very salvageable. It's not something that's worth upgrading. But what's the value there? The value there is the amount of property that's owned, the land that's owned, right? So when we think about construction, we naturally will see an old building. All right, this building isn't salvageable, but the land that this building was created on, that's where we can start. The foundation is where we can start. So often, you know, in construction, you'll see buildings get demolished. They'll demo the building, then they'll build something brand new. They'll build, a brand new structure. So that's something that's happening here for you in mid-November 2022. There is still a lot of value in the land. There's still a lot of value in the foundation that you have, but it's time to reconstruct in something in your life, whether it's about reconstructing your relationship, reconstructing your friendships, reconstructing your attitude, reconstructing the way you think, reconstructing the way you conduct business, so on and so forth. It's let's start from the foundation and let's build something more solidified here going forward. So it's actually a really good thing to have a reset sometimes in life. So I feel like this great reset coming in here for you is definitely going to be working to your advantage. Now, I know like a lot of people will see the Tower and they're like, well, I don't want to lose what I love in my life, or I don't want to lose things in my life. And the way that I view it is like the universe will never take something out of your life if it's truly meant for you. And if you're meant to go deeper, if you're meant to expand, if you're meant to ascend, if you're meant to grow, then that's the case. So when the Tower comes, let the Tower fall. You know, when you start to see things in your life, foundations in your life crumble, allow that to no longer resonate. Allow that to fall to the ground so that something new here can be born and restored, and so that something new here can form in your life going forward. So the Tower, to me, very, very awesome card. Breaking down of a foundation, starting from scratch and rebuilding a steadier structure in your life. So this is a good thing, in my personal opinion here, okay? Jumping into your current situation, though, we do have here the Five of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Hangman. Yep, absolutely. So the Hangman card coming in here for you, by the way, this is Piscean energy, so you could be dealing with the Pisces, or you might have a Pisces energy somewhere in your chart. So Five of Pentacles is the card here of feeling like you're stuck in lack. Well, the Tower card's happening, so now I have nothing. Some of you may experience this in mid-November. Maybe the Tower card represents a breakup, or it represents change in a relationship. Maybe it represents changes happening in your life that you're not too fond of, or changes happening within the workplace. You know, Tower card can overall signify change. So the Five of Pentacles is like, well, now I feel like I lost something good in my life, or I feel like something in my life is lost, you know? Five of Pentacles is like the energy of lack and the energy of feeling left out in the cold. But you don't see the blessing in disguise. Ten of Pentacles. You know, Ten of Pentacles here. This is the card of truly having it all. This is the card here of something very abundant that's coming towards you. So Aquarius, it's very hard to see the blessing, but there is a blessing here in disguise coming forward in mid-November 2022. Now, the thing about the Hangman that I love so much about this card specifically is that the Hangman here can be viewed in two different ways. Often when people see the Hangman, they imagine a person here who's stuck and trapped. You know, as you can see, this man is hung by his legs and he seems, he seems stuck, he seems trapped, he doesn't know how to get out. But when you look at the bottom, and you take a look at his head over here, you can see the rays that are glowing around him. And this is where the Hangman can start to resonate towards an energy of an awakening, right? An energy of enlightenment. So this is the energy of becoming enlightened. And I feel like for many of you, you're going to start to see here in mid-November, what I'm going through with this Tower, it's not a moment of lack. It's not a bad thing that's happening to me, but instead there is a blessing in disguise coming into play here for you. So I feel like for many of you Aquarians, it's like you're going to start to open up your eyes here. You're going to start to see the blessing that was in disguise all along, which is really great news to see. And I always tell people that too. It's like, you might not see a moment in your life right now as a blessing in disguise, but eventually the blessing will reveal itself to you. You know, a lot of people will see a breakup and be like, this is the worst thing ever. And then 2 years later, they're like, yeah, like I can't even imagine myself with that person today. I'm genuinely happy we broke up because now I met, you know, Brad, and Brad is amazing. Okay. So whatever the case might be for you, a lot of people never see it when it happens, when things in our lives change or end. We always view it as something that's negative, but eventually we open up our eyes to see why it happened and how much better off we are with the fact that things have changed. So Aquarius, going on further here into your reading, I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifier cards. I'm going to clarify all the way from the Hangman to the Five of Pentacles. So let's go ahead over here and begin. We're going to start here with the Hangman, and clarifying the Hangman, we have here the Strength, and we also have here the Lovers. So Strength card here, Lovers card here. All right. Now, as I mentioned previously with the Hangman, it looks to me like more of an awakening. The Tower card is also a card that symbolizes an awakening. I can talk about the Tower all day, guys. I've probably been talking about it a little bit too much. The Tower just has so much information behind it. It's one of my favorite cards. So Hangman, card of an awakening, card of enlightenment, that gets clarified here by the Strength. So the Strength card is the card that's naturally known as taming the beast, okay? Being in a position to where you can hold yourself back. Now, to me, that form of strength is what a lot of people are taught. And it's not necessarily the true meaning behind strength, because for me personally, I believe that there's more strength in vulnerability than in being able to repress an emotion. You know, I think that a lot of people in society, unfortunately, were raised to believe that there's strength in the sense of being able to repress your emotions and to be able to get through really tough things. But how we truly get through things that are tough is by experiencing our feelings and emotions. So the Strength card here, it's a card of holding back. I think for the longest time here, Aquarius, you know, with the Hangman coming into play here, you truly felt stuck in the face of something changing right in your very eyes. Something in your life unfolded here, you know, whether it was an intense breakup, whether your work situation changed, your finances changed, who you associated with changed, your mental health or mind or your mindset changed. It's like things in your life changed and you weren't fond of it. You didn't like it. So the Strength card here, you were putting up with it. You were tolerating these changes, but you still had the mindset here that you lost something you really cared about, the Lovers. You were still caught up in the mindset that I lost something I was truly connected to. I lost something that I deeply had a connection to. And because you were in that mindset that this is not a blessing, that this is a bad thing, it kept you stuck for a very long time. But now, as I mentioned here, coming into mid-November, you're really going to start to see the blessing that was in disguise all along. Speaking of that blessing, let's have a look. 10 of Pentacles, let's clarify. Clarifying the 10 of Pentacles, we have here the King of Cups, and we have here the Chariot. Excuse me. And we have here the Chariot. Sorry about that, y'all. Give me 1 second to cough this out real quick. Thank you very much. As I mentioned, I've been under the weather, but I definitely feel so much better. You guys did not want to see me a couple days ago, okay? This is actually a good thing, how I'm sounding and feeling right now. So, 10 of Pentacles here, clarifying it once again, King of Cups and the Chariot. So, when we look into these energies for you, Aquarius, 10 of Pentacles, like I mentioned previously, is the card of like feeling like you have it all, you know? It is abundance at its finest. And King of Cups is about being in an energy where you can emotionally process and see things from a very grounded perspective. So coming into mid-November, you're definitely going to see yourself and the way you handle yourself emotionally change in a very positive way. You're going to start to notice that processing your feelings and emotions have become easier than they ever been in quite some time. You're going to start to realize, I understand myself, I connect with myself, I resonate with myself more emotionally now than I have in quite a while. So you're going to see that you're going to start to connect with your own feelings and emotions very, very often here in the second half of the month, but you're also going to see that you're starting to understand yourself. You're not repressing what you feel, you're not hiding what you feel, you're not scared to show emotion, you're very, very much so in connection with you and what your truth is, and honestly, when it comes towards expressing, you know, your feelings and emotions to others, that doesn't seem to be held back here at all as well. So King of Cups is a person who becomes the master of their emotions and utilizes that to their benefit. So that comes into play with your abundance, and the reasoning behind that too is being able to see the bigger picture without letting your emotions cloud your judgment is a very important thing. You know, often in life, it's very, very difficult to be able to see the big picture of what's something or what of what's happening or what's going on in our lives, because when we're super emotional, that emotion sometimes, granted you have all the validity to feel it, it can cloud your judgment. But when you're in a more grounded place emotionally, you're going to see things for what they are, and it's not going to cloud your judgment. So this is another key to abundance that's manifesting here for you in the second half of the month. Just being more emotionally grounded. It's going to lead you to a more abundant place because nothing can cloud your judgment. And with the Chariot coming into play here, being a card of moving forward and being in a good direction, 10 of Pentacles here, Chariot here, it just basically says you're moving closer to a more abundant direction in your life here going forward because you're accepting that whatever needed to end in your life, whatever needed to change, it was for your benefit. I always truly believe that rejection's God's protection. And I truly believe that the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, is always steering us in the right direction. You know, wherever we go forward is where we're supposed to. And I think that if we can hold on to that faith and if we can continue to, you know, believe that, you know, we're always where we need to be, you're never going to have an issue in life going forward. So for the Aquarians here that are starting to really feel so much more grounded, so much more secure, so much more trust and faith in the process of where they're going, you're looking at a heck of a good second half of your month here for sure. All right. So I really feel for many of you, you're moving into a very abundant place. And the reasoning behind that is because you're starting to see the blessings, you know? And there's something really spectacular too about starting from scratch. You know, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, think about construction workers when they demo a building and then they have all this land, all this property, and now they can start from scratch. They always build something more magnificent, right? Something more modern, something more beautiful than what was previously standing. Well, maybe not beautiful at times because certain landmarks, man, those are timeless. But regardless, you get the point. You know, they built something very beautiful. And that's pretty much what correlates to you here, Aquarius. Whatever kind of situation in your life needed the change, needed a kick in the butt, needed to come to an ending, there's more beauty and more abundance to manifest here than ever. So there's like a certain level of excitement here that you should be feeling in mid-November when it comes towards starting from scratch, because it gives you the opportunity to build the best thing that you can, you know? And for some of you too, you know, I mentioned a breakup energy with the Tower. Maybe some of y'all are going through breakups. Maybe it's not even a breakup. Maybe you and your partner just cannot resonate the way you used to with each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to come to a breakup. It could be about changing the way you invest one another in the relationship, changing the way the two of you behave in the relationship, changing the way the relationship functions. It can be changes like that. And if it functions in a better way, then that right there is abundant. That right there is a positive change. So starting from scratch is wonderful. And I think that you're going to really start to like what you're seeing. And I also feel here too, this didn't come up in the tarot, but I'm feeling this intuitively. I also feel here too that your sacral chakra this month very much so is going to be activated. Now that's in terms of creativity, right? So with your sacral, there's a lot of creativity here. So don't be afraid to hone in on your creativity, Aquarius. I think that this second half of the month, you can really come up with wonderful ideas for the future that you want to build for yourself and the things that you want to manifest. So really hone in on your creativity, okay? Random message, but that's what I felt like I needed to say. All right, clarifying here, the 5 of Pentacles, we do have here the 9 of Wands, and we do have here the Moon card. So yeah, like I said in the past, you know, the Tower moment happened. Because the Tower moment, most likely, if it's not happening in November, it already happened earlier. But you felt here that this was the wrong thing to happen. You felt like this was the worst thing to happen here. 9 of Wands. I don't know what to do. I feel so wounded. The Moon card, I feel so hurt emotionally. So clarifying the 5 of Pentacles is pretty much saying the same thing. You know, when this Tower moment first occurred, you genuinely felt helpless. I don't know what to do. I've lost something so important in my life, and it felt impossible to see the situation any differently. But like I've already mentioned here with the Hangman and the Tower combined, there will be an awakening here this month where you start to see the blessing in disguise all along. Now, Aquarius, we're going to go ahead and move into the outcome. This reading turned out not to be so short and sweet. It's already about like close to 14 or already over 14 minutes. So my apologies, guys. These are supposed to be quickies. So let's jump to the outcome and let's see what's up, okay? What's going to be the overall outcome here for Aquarius? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout mid-November 2022. And what do we have? We have here the 3 of Swords, and we have here the 5 of Cups. And you know what? Seeing 2 cards like this right off the bat, most people would look at this and be like, whoa, that's not a positive outcome. But let me tell you why it is. Because when you look at the 3 of Swords, granted the 3 of Swords can be a card that can represent pain, it can represent heartbreak. It's also a card that just represents straight up separation. And in order to separate yourself, it can be painful. It can be a hard, it can be a hard task to detach from the things in our lives that we care about. But going through that pain makes it worth it, because when we do finally separate ourselves from things that no longer serve us, it moves us in a direction that's all the more better. Now, you do have here the Five of Cups, which is the card of grief. So I feel like for many of you Aquarians, there is going to be a part of your life that you're going to take some time to grieve, that you're going to take some time to let go. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you really cared about whatever's ending here or whatever's changing. And I think you need as much time as you need in order to be able to grieve. But overall, though, Aquarius, the Five of Cups, even though it's a card of grief, it's also a card that says you're making it through the grief. Now, in this specific tarot deck, they don't depict the Five of Cups like many other tarot decks do. But what typically shows up in the Five of Cups in most modern tarot imagery is a person who's looking at three cups that are knocked over, but doesn't realize that two cups are still left standing that's right behind the individual. Excuse me. And granted, it's not shown in this depiction. What I love so much about that depiction in modern tarot decks is that it says two cups are still standing. So three of cups getting knocked over means you've lost your joy. But with two cups still standing, it means there is still more joy to be explored in your life. And that's why I like the Five of Cups being here for the outcome. Aquarius, it might take some time for you to let go of the past. It might take some time for you to let go of what's changed or what's been lost. But just know that the joy that you've experienced, it might hurt that it's lost, but there's still more joy for you to experience in your future. There's still more joy out there that's continuing to be left standing for you. So that's the important thing to think about here with that Five of Cups. So with that being said, Aquarius, love this reading for you. I love this kind of energy. Love the Tower. You know me. But regardless, I think it's going to be a really fantastic eye-opening month here for you. Speaking of eyes, look at the eye over here in that Five of Cups. It's going to be a very eye-opening month here for you coming into the second half of November. I think it's going to be a time where you start to see a blessing in disguise come to the forefront. And it's a great time here to really move yourself into a new abundant place, to start from scratch and rebuild and get to somewhere even more, get to somewhere new, but even more beautiful. All right, Aquarius, with that all being said, excuse me one more time. Thank you very much. With that all being said, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. If you're new here, do consider subscribing, and I will catch you all in the next video. Much love, Aquarius, and have yourselves a good one. Peace.